Do you like Selena Gomez?
She's very cute. I'm sorry, can you talk to my cousin? He loves you too. Don't film things.
Oh.
And don't put them up.
And of course, ASAP Rocky as well, who has just steadily become now a big part of not only, you know, your recorded output, but it sounds like he's your fashion guru, amongst other things. Let's talk a little bit about that relationship in you and Rocky, because you guys have really connected in a big way on this record.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking of, I mean, like, he was in my video for National Anthem. I don't even know if that was 2011 or 2012, and been in touch with him since then. And he travels a lot, but whenever he's in town, sometimes he's in town for like a month at a time. And anytime he is, I'll come down to the studio and hear what he's working on, and I just do background vocals on his tracks. And I mean, there probably are a lot of tracks somewhere that. Like that we're both on. Yeah.
Wow, that you guys have worked on just
over the years,
yeah.
Like, because we kind of do them and forget them, and then if one's better than all of them, I mean, like this one, which I love so much.
Yeah.
Then, you know, like, to try and put it out.
Outside of what we hear on the record, Lana, with you and Rocky, like, what are some of the sort of key things that you really enjoy about your relationship? Like, you were talking about how he's always like trying to, like, what does he say about your clothes? What's his vibe?
Like, sometimes he'll see me and be like, "Els, what are you wearing?" But I told you, he's way more fashion forward than I am. Please don't touch my RAF.
Please don't touch my RAF.
Like, he gets it, but you know, I don't know. Polo shirt and jeans, I think. You know, like I'm wearing right now.
You look great right now.
I'm sure he'd have something.
Well, I kind of do records with Rocky off and on throughout the years, and we never really know if we're going to use them, but I guess he was the first person I worked with. I'd had one of those records for like 6 months, and I asked him then we did another one, and I asked him if he thought we should do 2. Like, keep the 2 on the record, and he said yeah.
Back to back, just a whole Rocky Lana moment.
Yeah. But then I felt like I couldn't do something with Rocky if I didn't have Abel there from The Weeknd, just because like Abel's supported me since 2010. I was struggling so much that year, and then like in 2011 he started posting video games on his Tumblr, and then this really famous radio DJ in London found it on his Tumblr and started playing it on the radio. Wow. So I wanted that full. It was a very full. I wanted everything to sort of come. Yeah. So he obviously was super excited and really like giving of his time, and and then I kind of felt like the first single from the record, it was called Love, and I felt like that sentiment I hoped would be at the heart of the record. So I like the idea of the Lennon legacy. I feel like the Lennon legacy is love.
Definitely.
So I called up Sean and I said, like, I hope you don't mind. I name checked your parents in this song. Is it going to be too meta if like you sing with
on
me?
It, yeah.
And he's like, I am my dad's biggest fan. There's nothing I'd like better than to be connected to you and connected to him. And so, I mean, obviously that was a real big moment for me.
For sure.
And then same with Stevie Nicks. I called her up because my longtime producer of 7 years, Rick Knowles, he had his first hit producing Stevie Nicks.
Wow.
So he had her number, and he called her up, and he was like, Lana wants, one strong woman on the record. We really want it to be you. And she was like, I'm on it. I'm on the plane. So the whole thing, I mean, that was one call I was afraid to make.
Yeah. How did that go?
She could not have been nicer.
On the album, but
she could not have been nicer, actually. And I got to see her play at I think Dodger Stadium with Fleetwood Mac and Callie. I've been listening to for a long time. My producer, who I mentioned before, Rick Knowles, he hasn't worked with that many people since he started with me 7 years ago, because I do keep him very busy. But one girl he brought up to me was Callie. He was like, I don't know, I think I can be a little bit fierce. I think he was like afraid of like what I would say if he was going to work with another girl who was like doing something similar. But I was like, she's actually one of my favorite artists.
Yeah.
I just feel like she's very sexy, very easy listening. I love her visuals. I like that she was a visual artist first, and I can really tell she directs everything. And I love that she's from Colombia.
Yeah. Yeah, there definitely is like a synergy between the art that you guys are into making.
And it's pretty vintage as well. Like, she has a super retro flair.
Yeah.
And then Janae's just like a really good person. I feel like she's had a really big story, a long story that she's shared a lot of, and I haven't shared a lot of my story because I've never really felt like I've wanted to. So I admire that she has like explored that in her interviews and in her records, and it's like very brave. Her voice is also killer.
Yes, also that.
Yeah.
And to put an album with like 22 tracks on it is no small feat.
No. It's crazy.
Yeah.
She didn't even tell me that she was doing that. She just said yes to the tour.
Wow.
And then she just dropped the record. I was like, oh my God.
Do you need like
Are
an
you
hour
have time for that?
Stephanie, you suck. I know you're selling 20 million.
Would you ever do a collaboration with Gaga? Lana, would you ever do a collaboration?
Stop filming, honey.
Just say yeah.
We're just doing something with Lady Gaga.
Oh, I don't know. Not today.
No.
Well, like,
So,
when I found Eminem for the first time, he really changed my life because I didn't know that music could be intelligent. Like, he was talking about his own life, and, like, he wasn't just rhyming over music just for rhyme's sake. Like, he was really talking about the way that things were. And so that made me think, like, I wouldn't rap, but I could also, you know, like, talk about the way that things actually were instead of just making stupid music, like, and to try and sell it. So, I mean, and also he's a genius. I mean, he happens to be a genius, so.
Are you rooting for anybody on Monday at the Grammys?
Well, I think Abel's going to have a pretty good night, so I'm excited for him. Yeah.
Are you excited to see him perform too?
Yeah.
And do you have, you know, doesn't have to be a nominee, do you have an album of the year personally for you this past year?
This year? Ooh, put me on the spot. We were talking about liking the Kendrick Lamar record.
There's a story of Britney doing Vegas. You think she'll do well?
Oh, definitely.
Would you watch her this season?
I'd watch her do anything. She's never met you.